Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, let's discuss one of the common and most important interview question asked in almost all the automation testing rounds. Okay, interview rounds. So if you want this PDF, I have given a link in the description and also in the comment section. Please do check out. Okay, let's get started. So the question is, what are the challenges that you have faced in automation testing? Okay, we'll discuss one by one on all the challenges. Handling the dynamic web elements. Okay, so what exactly the challenge is? Many web applications generate dynamic IDs and attributes at runtime. So for example, you can see the input ID is 12345 at first instance, and the input ID user 67890 is at the second instance during every execution. I mean, when we re-execute the same code, the ID keeps on changing. So that's the problem. So when we try to run the command driver.findElement by ID using the ID locator, it fails in the next execution because it couldn't able to find the element that it's looking for. So the solution for it is we can use the stable locators. Okay, so you can answer to the interviewer like, one major challenge was handling the dynamic web elements whose locators changed frequently. To overcome this, I used relative XPath CSS selectors and implemented a centralized object repository using page object model. Okay, so the second type of issue is synchronization issues. Okay, so the challenge here is application loading time varies. Okay, application tries to interact before element becomes available. Okay, for example, when you run this command, the element is not yet loaded, so that's the problem. And we may get the exceptions like no such element exceptions or element not interactable exception. So for this, the solution is by using explicit waits we can control this. Okay, you can see the statement that I have given the command. Okay, so in the interview, in short form, you can answer to the interviewer like, synchronization issues were a common challenge. Instead of using thread.sleep, I implemented explicit waits and custom wait utilities which improved test stability significantly. Okay, and the third challenge is handling the flaky tests. Okay, so the challenge here is test passes sometimes but fails sometimes. Okay, it might be the causes, some of these causes like slow network, timing issues, environment instability, and dynamic UI updates. So these might be the causes. And to handle this, our solution would be we have added the synchronization and improved our locator strategy and implemented a retry mechanism by using iRetry analyzer. Okay, so in short and sweet form, you can tell to the interviewer with an interview ready answer like, flaky tests were impacting automation reliability. I analyzed the root causes and improved the synchronization logic, and by reducing the intermittent failures significantly. Okay, I mean, which reduced the intermittent failures significantly. And the fourth point is handling the frequent UI changes. Okay, so developers changes the UI very frequently. You can see, right? For example, initially the button ID will be submit, but later it has been modified to save. So because of this, the problems like scripts fail issues will occur. Okay, so the solution is implementing a page object model. Okay, so where we can update only at one place uh, the ID or the locator or whatever it may be. Okay, so in short form, you can tell to the interviewer like, frequent UI changes increased maintenance effort. To minimize impact, I use the page object model and centralized locators, making updates easier and faster. Okay, the fifth challenge is handling the test data. okay, or managing the test data. So the challenge here is tests require unique test data. Okay, for example, user registration. When we try to perform user registration, the device or the app says email already exists. So the problem here, so the repeated execution fails. So to handle that, we have to generate a dynamic unique test data. Okay. So in short form, you can tell managing reusable test data was challenging. I created data driven frameworks and generated dynamic test data to ensure repeatable execution. Okay. And the sixth challenge is environment instability. Okay. So the challenge here is environment frequently unavailable at most of the times. So for example, it might be because of server down issues or database issues or API unavailable issues. Okay. And the result is failures. Okay. The solution for this is by doing the health checks, by pre-execution or by performing a pre-execution validations, and better failure reporting for clarity. Okay. So you can tell like sometimes test failures were caused by environment issues rather than application defects. I implemented environment validation checks before execution to reduce false negatives. Okay. And the seventh question goes like handling pop-ups and alerts. Okay. So the challenge here is unexpected alerts interrupts during the execution. Okay. So we can tell like we have handled that using alert mechanisms and by using the reusability methods, utility methods. And the eighth point or the eighth challenge here is cross browser testing. Here the challenge is application behaves differently. Okay. So some of the examples are Chrome, Edge and Firefox. Okay, here the same script passes in Chrome but fails in Firefox. That's the problem. And the solution we used is Selenium Grid or Browser Stack or Sauce Labs. Okay, the interview ready answer will be like cross browser compatibility issues were common. I executed tests across multiple browsers using Selenium Grid and cloud platforms to identify browser specific defects. And the ninth challenge is parallel execution issues. Okay, so here the challenge is when running multiple tests simultaneously, the parallel execution issues comes. Okay, some of the problems like driver conflicts or data conflicts. Okay, and the solution is by incorporating the thread local. Okay, so while implementing a parallel execution, I faced driver sharing issues. Using thread local WebDriver, it resolved the thread safety problems. And the 10th challenge is automation framework maintenance. Okay, framework becomes difficult to maintain and the solution to handle is by implementing a page object model, data driven framework, hybrid framework, and by incorporating the utility classes and having better reporting. Okay. And the 11th challenge is API and UI dependency issues. Okay. Here the challenge is our UI tests depend on backend data. Okay. And the solution to do is created data. We have created a data using APIs before the execution and uh, and then we try to post a request and then execute the UI test upon success. Okay, you can answer like to reduce dependency on manual data creation. I integrated API calls within automation scripts to create prerequisite data dynamically. And the 12th point goes like CI/CD integration challenges. Here the challenge is automation execution in Jenkins pipeline. So that's the main challenge. And the problems occurs like so environment variables, sometimes the driver issues will occur and build failures will happen. So solution is by in configuring the Maven and Jenkins parameterization parallelly and proper reporting. Okay. So we can tell in short form like integrating automation with Jenkins pipelines initially caused execution issues. I resolved them through proper build configuration, dependency management and automated reporting. Okay. If you are working on APM, so some of the challenges in mobile automation occurs like different devices or OS versions. Okay, here the problems occurs like element identification in these devices and device fragmentation issues and app installation issues. Okay, the solution is accessibility IDs, device forms and platform specific locators. Okay, in short form, in APM automation, handling multiple devices and OS versions was challenging. I used platform independent locators and executed tests on real devices and cloud device forms. Okay, and the 14th challenge is reporting and debugging failures. The challenge here is difficult to identify the root cause. And the solution is we implemented the extent reports, screenshots, and logging libraries. And we also took the screenshots. Okay. In short form, you can tell to the interviewer like to simplify debugging, I integrated extent reports, screenshots, and detailed logs, enabling faster analysis of failed test cases. Okay, so this is the challenge. These are the challenges that we are frequently face in the automation testing. In short, overall, at high level, you can answer to the interviewer like, in automation testing experience, I faced several challenges such as handling dynamic web elements, synchronization issues, flaky tests, test data management, frequent UI changes, and environment instability. Dynamic elements were handled using robust locator strategies and page object model. Synchronization issues were resolved through explicit weights instead of hard-coded weights. To reduce flaky tests, I improved locators' reliability and implemented retry mechanisms. For test data challenges, I used data-driven approaches and dynamic data generation. Frequent UI changes were managed through reusable framework design and centralized locators. Additionally, I worked on CI/CD integration, cross-browser testing, and reporting improvements, which helped increase automation stability, maintainability, and execution efficiency. This resulted in more reliable test execution and reduced maintenance effort across the project. Okay, so this is how you can answer. If you are looking for end-to-end interview questions along with detailed answers, which is very helpful for clearing the interview, I have given a link in the description. Please do check out and also in the comment section. Okay, it has been built after 13 plus years of real IT experience and it has been crafted after taking 3500 plus automation interviews, and it covers the actual questions asked in almost all the companies, and it has been designed for 0 to 15 plus years of experienced candidates, for both freshers as well as experienced candidates. Okay, so please do check out and let me know if you have any queries or questions. Thank you so much for watching my video. All the best for your upcoming interview. Happy learning, happy testing.